Paul was the Hawaiian guitar player. Paul was the inventor of the electric Hawaiian guitar. He was the owner of Audiovox, which made and sold electric audio voices, which made and sold electric audio devices. He was also a partner with Les Paul. I bought these things even when I got into TV repair many years later. I don't know who owned it at the time, because I think he had died by then. In any case, we practiced and started doing gigs around Seattle. We did one for a big real estate mogul in the area. I forget his name. We did one at the Olympic, where he got into a shouting match with the future Secretary of State, Johnny Sherberg, I think it was. He claimed Sherberg owed him $1. This was backstage at the Olympic Hotel. This musical activity got the attention of the local musicians union. So they wanted $75 for us to join the union, but would not let us play if we didn't join. But none of us, except Paul, had the $75, so we had to disband. I'm pretty sure that Paul mainly organized the band to sell his guitars, which he manufactured for Audiovox, I suppose. So he probably didn't care at all that much, although he did spend some money on us. We got special suit coats and so on as we were ready to make a name around the area. During this time, I was playing on the radio for some church groups. There's a church out there on 80th, just to the right of the freeway. It is the Evangel Tabernacle, and I played for them. The Crystal Pool got turned into a church, and I played for the group that went on the radio there. There was a well-known Christian singer there, but I can't think of his name. At one of these churches, Leoma was a member of a women's group, but they were so bad that the Cairo would not let them perform with the church program. So I did some playing around the area and some in California when I was there for hoedowns and country dances and stuff like that. It's a good thing I quit, though, with the direction I was going. I would not be around now. But I married Kay and had to stop my music career and make a living for my growing family. That turned out to be a good thing for me. Kay made sure our kids got the opportunity to either take dance lessons or music lessons while they were growing up. But let's get on with our life. Eventually, Mom and Dad made some sort of an agreement, and Mom got possession of us 3 little kids. She already had possession of the 2 older, Royal and Leoma. Rhoda was already married. Except for the incident at Central School, this part is a total blank about how we went with Mother. I next remember being in Salem, Oregon. We kids are still being taken of by a single parent and in the depression, no less. So no doubt I would remember something caused by poverty. I don't remember just what it was, but probably because they were just slit trenches. Oatmeal without sugar and milk. If I eat it, which I do rarely because of my diabetes, I have to have milk and sugar in it. From Salem, we moved out to Santiam, where I remember exploring the winter in a forest without leaves on the trees. To this day, I get the same feeling when I go into the woods in winter and see all the places where the animals could be living. As there was nothing there for us, Mother pulled up stakes and we went to Seattle. South of Seattle, going down towards the Duwamish River on Highway 99 was a motel, which was the first place we stayed. Mom was headed for a place near 12th and Jackson because she had heard there was a mission at 12th and Jackson where Pastor's brother Jack would help us. Probably the next day we went to the area and rented an apartment at 1415 Jackson. Last time I looked, it was still there. We attended the mission for a while, but as Mother got no help at all from Pastor Jack, Brother Jack he was known as, we moved to another church. But before we moved, we stayed in the area for some time. We moved to 21st and Yesler, then a couple blocks to the upper floor of a house made into an apartment on the same street. A few years ago, the house was still there. Recently, a cop was killed there execution style. It was less dangerous then. Mother was a very conservative Christian and tried to bring us kids up the same way. One of her rules was that we do not watch movies. One day at Washington Grade School, now Seattle Central College, the teacher was making ready to show an instructional film. I was so upset I got up and walked out and stayed in the hall. Shortly, the teacher came out and kindly asked what was wrong. I don't think she tried to get me to go back. I don't think there were any free lunches at school in those days. As we had the money, I had to bring what I could from home. For a while, the school made some work for me, which was to clean the boys' and girls' restroom. I don't know how much of a clean they got out of me at 12. I got to eat in the lunchroom for a while because of this. For a young kid with my upbringing, going to the girls' restroom was really something. All this time, I entertained myself by walking to the downtown library and reading every book on Indians and World War I could find. I had an old beat-up guitar, and Loyal bought me a very nice Epiphone for $175. That was a huge amount of money in those days. I practiced for hours every day. He worked as a messenger for Western Union. I didn't know until after he died that he had bought it. I thought Mother bought it. I never got to thank him. On the corner of 12th and Jackson, there was a black who sold newspapers from a paper shack the city allowed him to build on the corner. To make some money, I would subcontract by getting some of his papers and try to sell them on the other corner closer to town. Of course, I would have to make a sale while the light was red. Otherwise, they would go across the street to Neverseat to buy their paper. I was not successful at this because I was not aggressive enough, I think, but mainly there was just not enough time to make a sale. Important, too, was that as the paper sold for a nickel, my cut was not very much, as he had to have a little bit, too. I tried a few times to go to town and buy some papers from the Seattle Star, which sold for 3 cents. At that time, there were 3 newspapers published in Seattle. However, there was a 3-cent price. There wasn't much to be made off a sale. No wonder the Star went out of business.